Hi guys and girls, Mark Crossfield here, and I'm asking the question, are all golf drivers just exactly the same? So I'm going to review two drivers today and compare the Titleist TSR3 coming in at 529 on the price points, and we've also got the Stealth down at, well, 499, 469 floating around in places. Kind of would have been up near, if not above, the £500 mark when it was released. So when it comes to the price, they're not exactly the same now. Remember, Stealth is just about, subject to when you're watching this video, just about to release a new one. So you could argue if they are the same, you've got 529 competing against, well, £500-ish, and it's going to come down because there'll be a new one that'll make that one come down. Meaning maybe if they are the same, TaylorMade one would be a way better buy. How similar are modern drivers? Like, they're just the same, aren't they?
So down by the ball, I'm going to say no. I mean, we've got distinct different looks. You've got the matte finish of the TaylorMade, the shiny of the Titleist. You see the red face on the TaylorMade where it's just a dark face on the Titleist, and they do have slightly different shapes, especially when we get in this corner here, slightly more rounded off where it kind of dribbles off the shaft here, and even to the necks looking different. So instantly with those two, we are getting, they're different, they're not the same. So it's defining what the same really is, isn't it?
And I think that is the main question. How do you want to define what's different, better or worse? Where I think lots of this gets muddled up when it comes to the looks. Well, they're not the same when it came to the price at the start. They're not the same, and that's going to move subject to when you're watching this video. Is it the performance, so the physical numbers that come out? We're going to show you the drivable data and numbers at the end, and we all know what's happening with the rules around golf and equipment, but I'll show you the little differences there are in these, if there are any. And then last off, is it the feel? You know, how the club actually feels as you hit it, swing it, those kind of things.
So you do have the distinct different sounds with the two clubs, like they sound different. The Stealth has the carbon sounding face, you know, that kind of duller sound that will appeal. I think it'll split audience down the middle. TSR3 has a kind of desirable sound, I think one that lots of people would desire. So do they feel and sound the same? No, not quite the same. They do feel like I can do what I want with them, but they sound off the face a bit different. So how much does the tech differ with both of these? Let's see what the manufacturers say.
So TaylorMade 60 times carbon twist face. The most noticeable difference between TaylorMade Stealth driver and its one before is the innovation of 60 time carbon twist face. That's the red face, the kind of carbony sound, that duller sound that it produced. Manufactured with 60 layers of carbon sheet, which has been painstakingly engineered for rapid ball speed. So it's really trying to control and deliver impressive energy transfer for the speed you put into what comes out. So in theory, with those big words, it's going to be the fastest one. The twist face weighs in approximately 44% lighter than the equivalent titanium driver face. So it's this kind of carbon revolution where they're saving weight but still transferring energy, which they'll use in other places, the weight that is, to try and deliver more energy. Adjustable sleeve technology, you get different shaft options, you get the through slot speed pocket at the bottom. So they're really trying to deliver as much energy transfer. They're trying to keep the ball speeds up on different parts of the face. And at the same time, they're trying to give you lots of custom fitting abilities with the neck. And obviously, it comes in different lofts. So comparing that to the Titleist TSR3, it's got a maintaining shape that fits the player's eye, which it does look good. It features advanced aerodynamics. So they're pushing on the aerodynamics of this club from prior models, trying to increase your speeds, and then hopefully in turn it will deliver more ball speed. Speed ring VFT technology, so using a variable face thickness. Titleist engineers focus relationship. This means the sweet spot is now even sweeter. So they're saying they've made that sweet spot even hotter in theory. And then on the back, you have a tuning port to try and align where you strike that ball on the face with the center of gravity of the club. Don't think about dialing that in for shape shifting, you know, draws and fades so much. Think of that more as trying to get the most ball speed out of this club by aligning CGs with your slight heel or toe strikes. Again, you have the sure fit neck and you have shaft options. So Titleist has the same ideas as TaylorMade. They're trying to keep the face really fast. They're both giving you adjustable necks. Titleist has the fine tuning on the back with the weight that just slides around on the back. So if it's fine tuning you're after, they're not quite the same there either, are they? They're slightly different, yet both manufacturers would say they will deliver similar ideas of energy transfer.
So what's really interesting, I hit 4 shots on that tee, and the 4 shots didn't all line up, so the 2 sets of 2. But I did it 2 toey dippers, which were the ones back there, falling out the air. This hole is downwind today, and this is the TaylorMade here, and that is the Titleist up there, about 12 steps further on. So the Titleist winning, do people say? Well, so it's better, it is different, it goes longer. We'll show you the numbers at the end and maybe relate back to that point.
What's funny with today, and you'll see on the next hole, is very much downwind. So I only had a wedge into this par 5. I wedged it to 3 foot. And yeah, that's an eagle. Thank you very much.
You could argue these drivers say 2 very different things as well. The red face is really going to stand out, where the Titleist will get lost in amongst the dark driver world. So if you're someone who doesn't want to stand out, this is a jazzy looking driver, then the Stealth might not be for you. It's funny that it's called Stealth when it's got a red face. Also, the 2 brands say very different things. The 2 brands kind of state much more loud, brash, you know, like I'm really... Like, I don't know, will you tell me what it means? I think Titleist is more understated, we're just professional. TaylorMade is shoutier, it's brasher, it's like, oh, we're the best, so you must be the best of it. Let me know what you think. Will brand affect even your decision on these 2 clubs? Again, really similar. This now, the Titleist, and just up in front there by the bunker is the TaylorMade. We're now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 steps different. And we're going to look at the numbers. Is that really a difference? Let's have a look, shall we?
So I went inside and we had a look at the dry ball data, and what I was finding, one, I was quite quick today, which was great. I did actually touch 170. Anyone following my videos, I didn't touch it with these clubs. These were, I got to my peak actually about 10 shots after these with my own club as I was getting ready to go home, and I did touch 170, yes. But let's look at what was coming out of the 2 clubs. So head speed here, you can see I was moving it both at the same miles per hour. Average strike a little bit more towards the toe with the Stealth to the Titleist. Ball speeds 165 with the Titleist, 166 with the Stealth. That's average. Yes, please. So really, really close with those. Launching both at the same angles. So the spins very, very similar, overlapping on their standard deviations. Don't see these as different. They're very much the same. If I could repeat that over and over and over again, you could call that different. But the standard deviation suggests that they would just keep flipping if I hit more and more and more shots. And then again, 290 to 287 with the Stealth. 3 yards difference in the carry, but there is no difference. That's an average. I might not ever hit that average, remember. 6 yard standard deviation, 7 yard standard deviation, short and longer of those numbers, meaning they are basically just overlapping. They're pretty much performing very much the same. Now, I said something earlier outside,
and this is the TaylorMade here, and that is the Titleist up there, about 12 steps further on. So the Titleist winning, do people say? Well, so it's better, it is different, it goes longer.
And this is a common problem I see in when people get me to, I don't watch many golf videos, but they ask me to watch videos saying, like, is this really true? And you see it so often when you deal with averages or you don't have big data sets. So that was just one shot on a course. Look at my standard deviation. This Titleist can go up to 296 yards carry. This one could drop down to 280 carry on one shot. If you compared, you know, the data sets on these 2, if you compare one shot, the highest of the shortest on these 2, you're going to get a massive split. But that's because my standard deviation is, well, it's 14 yards. It's 7 forward of that, 7 back of that, 6 forward of that, 6 back of that. So you see the 12 yards, the 8 yards, those steps that we see out on the golf course. It would have to be, for that to be a difference, it needs to be repeated over and over and over again. And what happens if you test enough clubs like I have over the years, what you find is they just switch. It's the standard deviation. My deviations are bigger than the tolerances in these drivers. So when it comes to the number, are these drivers the same? Yeah, pretty much. I was a little bit further left with the TaylorMade. The Titleist felt like it was straighter to a little bit fadier, But if I really wanted to dial that down in, I could aim the TaylorMade a bit further right. Remember, the TaylorMade was a bit more out the toe, so my deviation's coming in there as well. And I could just get a different loft and change the neck to make it sit slightly differently as well. So I don't see that as anything but me. And when you speak to the world's best fitters, as I'm lucky enough to have done on tour, and some of the best coaches in the world, what they tend to say is that left and right, a player's not scared of. They just don't care about left and right. When you're moving a swing or a club, they can sort that out. Give them 10 minutes, they'll sort that out. What they do care about is the speeds. What they do care about is the strike. And for those two, apart from one back being slightly toeier, which is my miss, I'm seeing those numbers as very much the same. So are all drivers the same? Well, it depends. Again, out of this criteria, what do you define as the same? Maybe in the comments down below, you could let me know what you think it defines a driver as being the same or not. Ball speeds, all I see is me shifting needles bigger than any of these manufacturers. Yes, I'm happy they're giving me their optimized versions. Yes, I prefer a different sound and I prefer different looks. And do I want the red face? Do I not like the red face? Do I want the overpriced Titleist or a cheaper Stealth because the price is coming down? Now, these are things that might sway you. But if you're getting a good fitting, which you should be, if you're out there trying to get the best out of your golf, you should be getting a proper fitting. And for me, that's from someone who understands your swing. Ideally, someone who coaches you as well, rather than someone who's just selling you golf clubs, which there seems to be an epidemic of at the minute. I would rather you be going out there getting the right equipment for yourself and working and listen to the things I'm saying. They sound different. They look slightly different. Even the way the neck looks slightly different. These are all things that might affect it, down to even brand alliances, which with the numbers fit, most drivers are going to come out numbers wise so similar nowadays, apart from if you go for low spin models and those kind of things where the needle does shift a little bit. You're going to see very big similarities. Are they the same? No. Are they all the same? Yeah, as well. It depends what you want to measure. Thanks for watching. Let me know, as always, in those comments down below. What makes them different, all the same for you? Why did you buy or update your last driver? When did you last buy a driver? Let me know. You're not changing because you don't think anything's moving and you're happy with what you've got. Let me know.